This month's founder story breaks the pattern of the last three. Kevin's company ran out of money, Bob walked away for health reasons, Manuel exited sooner than anyone expected. Dennis is different. He's been building from the same core thesis across 3 separate companies for the last 25 years. And it all started with the book.
I was just thinking there should be software that helps me figure out where my friends are, where to go, what people are doing right now. And around that same time, I was reading the Harry Potter books for the first time. And then book 3 has the Marauder's map in it, the Harry Potter's Marauder's map, which is this magical item that shows Harry where everyone is at the castle, right? And someone's got to make that for New York. And that was a big part of the inspiration.
Dennis read Harry Potter and came away wanting to build a map that shows you where you are and where your friends are in real time, to turn physical spaces into something magical using the internet. Everything since then has been some version of that idea, rebuilt from whatever technology existed at the time.
Our first company was a thing called Dodgeball. And the only phones we had were crappy flip phones, no color screens, no GPS. All you could do was no apps. All you could do was text. And so how do you make a Marauder's map that works with text, right? After that, the iPhone came out and said, you can actually design UX around this. You can access the GPS. How does that change?
The first company was Dodgeball. And it came along right before the iPhone, GPS, and apps. And you texted where you were and people texted back.
I felt like it never got to its natural conclusion. We didn't stay at Google long enough to figure it out.
Google then bought Dodgeball. Dennis stayed for a few years, but like a lot of Google acquisitions, the company died from the inside. The full vision he had imagined never really came together. So what did he decide to do next was build another company around the same thesis. It became Foursquare. And in 2013, there were check-ins, badges, 60 million users, and a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. And it was honestly hard to find someone who wasn't using Foursquare. And it took off just as the iPhone did. But on the flip side, consumer behavior also shifted on the internet too.
Actually, the internet ended up going in a different direction. It was not about let's meet up in our friends in real life. It's about who can get the most followers on Instagram. And that was unexpected turn that the internet took. And we were not relevant for that change of events. And so there's no dominant thing that everyone uses. It's not a solved problem. You kind of keep going back to the drawing board and try to figure out if you can solve it a better way.
This made me think about how much easier it would have been to build Bunny in an era of AI. Combining unstructured data across multiple sources in a HIPAA-compliant environment is exactly what AI is good at doing. But just as the technology would have sped up product development, it would also have changed consumer behavior, and that is what we're seeing today. What's frustrating about Dennis's story is that people loved Foursquare, and he was the first to really truly connect people over the internet. And then came along social media. And companies like Instagram ended up beating Foursquare not because of the product, but because of the change in consumer behavior. People just found different ways to get the same thing, to feel seen, to be somewhere, and to know what their friends were doing. Foursquare was just the first to tap into that connection, and Instagram won by scaling it to the masses. Now it's 2026, and Dennis is building from the same idea. He's on his 3rd company now, and the technology is AirPods instead of an iPhone. And the company is called Hopscotch Labs.
And so the themes have stayed the same, but the technology keeps changing.
The map keeps getting redrawn. What he's chasing hasn't changed. After 13 years at Foursquare, Dennis stepped down as the CEO and now is building a new map again with the new technology.
I did the same thing at Foursquare, where I put 10 years, 13 years into trying to build this thing. And when I made the decision to leave the company, I was like, I can't believe I'm just going to walk away from this. But sometimes you just got to do that. And it's generic advice, but just trying to have a little bit of space there, I think, is helpful.
Across all the 3 companies, they had different versions of an end. Foursquare is continuing on as a different version of his original vision. Dodgeball never got its true ending. And now Hopscotch Labs, the story is currently being written. Dennis is a rare kind of founder, one who keeps building new versions from the same idea until the technology catches up to where he wants it to go. Next week, chapter 4.2, Entrepreneur is French for someone who has ideas and does them. What it actually means to be a builder and why he keeps returning to the same idea instead of starting over.